our last words. Us couldn't get that these were our last words. Love, we lost our way, hoping we'd come back. All we do is love, we lost our way, hoping we'd come back. Us couldn't get that these were our last words.
Alright, what up, what up? Welcome to the round table. You guys can unmute yourselves now. You're good.
Good evening.
Good evening. We want to suck your blood.
So we do have another special guest because Caleb's just part of the round table, so he's not.
Yeah, he's grandfather date at this point.
I'm that guy that just started sleeping on the sofa and never really walked back out the door.
So we got Mrs. Jana from First Angel Media, the owner and creator of First Angel Media, here on our round table at Btmx, and she's also my mentor. So it's an honor to have her on here.
It's an honor to be here.
So if this is the first time you think you being on the round table, so basically what the show is about, we actually have it open to fans if they want to come onto the show. We talk about different discussions, ask each other questions, and basically we try to get the, what's going on in the world and these different topics like that. Don't hold back. If this hurts someone's feelings, then they're not mature enough to watch the show. So, like I said, all bars, don't hold back at all. If you feel like something and you want to say something, please go ahead and address it.
It's like The View, but set in Arkham Asylum.
Okay. All right. I got this.
Yeah.
Speak your mind. And fuck the haters.
I generally tend to be a nice person.
I've seen you mad.
A few times people have seen me upset.
She scares you, especially when she sees another character and she's pissed. Oh, no. Especially when she tells somebody to do something more than once, and then she has to repeat it again, and then they don't understand it, and then you have to repeat it again. She's like, what the fuck?
I can get very like, I told you what I needed you to do.
As a former educator, I understand that pain. You You just want to record it on a little talk boy or something, and just when they ask, you can play.
Yes.
So I can save my voice box.
Yes.
Like in Last Action Hero, where he's on the phone with his wife and just picks out a tape, and he's like, yeah.
So, 90% of our roundtable are from the music scene. So, have you guys heard a lot of the news that's going on and the controversy between artists and stuff like that?
Well,
like one of the main topics I've seen a lot of people mentioning is the MGK and the Slipknot
Corey
issue.
Taylor thing. Yeah. God.
What is your guys' views on that? Let's start with our special guest, Jonna. How do you feel about this becoming so big from the fans instead of it being staying to the music?
So my is he really shoved his foot in his mouth whenever he said that. I mean, okay, there's a number one rule, and Joe will remind people. You guys have had Raven Joseph Barrett on the show a few times. He'll remind you, number one, music is created because there is a fan base out there. Somebody created it, somebody likes it. There's going to be somebody else out there, no matter what the music is, that somebody else likes it. You don't go up and talk crap on Slipknot. Yes, they've been wearing masks all this time, but like, they've also been around longer than you've been out of diapers, dude, and there's a reason for that. And I guess that he's getting his comeuppance, because at the most recent festival that he was at, people showed up in front of the stage to boo him and flip him off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like Crazy Town in Denver. That's funny.
Fuck me any happier.
But really, I mean, no matter what, I grew up with Slipknot. I grew up with, 9 Inch Nails. I grew up with the people that a lot of the younger kids now probably look at and they're like, wow, that was some weird stuff. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's their shtick. It's their thing. I saw Mudvayne up there. I don't know how old they are at this point. I don't know. I don't want to know because it'll tell me how old I am. But the truth is, like, if he hadn't been up there in the face paint, I wouldn't have been happy. I would not have been, oh, they're coming back? No, put him back, because he didn't come out the way I expected. I mean, we expect this, and he just had a Karen moment.
So, Michaela, what do you think of the whole situation that's going on?
I don't even know what the heck's going on, honestly.
Okay, so let's tell everybody. You guys don't know what's going on between MGK and Slipknot Corey Tyler. Yeah. MGK made the statement that at least he doesn't go on stage with a face mask at 50 years old, making a slam at Corey Tyler. And then he also made a claim that on his brand new album, he's trying to make famous Tickets to My Downfall, which I think it's the perfect title right now. He basically said
that was the name of his album.
He said that
he kicked him off.
He refused. He kicked him off the project.
Yeah.
Now Corey Tyler, who's a very private person, doesn't believe.
Who the fuck is Corey Tyler?
Taylor, whatever, smartass.
It's not whatever. It's Corey Tyler. Fuck, dude.
I get claimed that that's who Dead is.
Corey Tyler.
Anyways, he put the emails out stating that he did not want that he was willing to help him with the project. He just wasn't the right person for it, and he put out the information between them all, so he could prove a point that he wasn't about out smashing on MGK. That he was even willing to go out of his way to help him with resources like John has done me and so many others, and he still is acting like a 2-year-old with a mic. So he got on stage, he bashed a band that has a larger following than him, for one. For two, Slipknot fans are more violent than MGK fans because Slipknot might be stoned, but they're not on psychedelics. No.
Yeah, that's like going to a Juggalo concert and trying to fucking spew some bullshit about a different band that's no relation to the Juggalos or anything.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So now, what is your view on it?
He needs to learn to just shut his mouth. Honestly, like, keep your opinions to yourself.
Now, Dad, how do you feel about this being an artist that performs in a mask?
Well, I actually commented on this. I said, I think that's funny as hell, coming from a person that, you know, tried to diss somebody in a genre that basically whooped his ass lyrically, which is Eminem. So he fucking got discredited for being a rap artist. So he decided to hop into another genre and then talk shit about one of the highest, most entertaining fucking groups that has been around for the past 25 years.
Legends.
Like, you're just fucking yourself off. Like, what are you gonna go to next? Acting?
We do got our fans over here in the comments talking along with us. We actually got Skeptic from Blood of the Befallen in here. He says, yeah, I think MGK is trying to stir up controversy to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Sarah Harrington says he's a poser. He just talks really fast to music.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
I agree with Skeptic too. I think that I don't think he's a dumb guy. You know, I think his talent's overrated, but I don't think his brains are. And I think he knew that if you go after, I mean, it just, and I think it was the same with Eminem. You know, if you go after, Eminem is to rap in many ways what Slipknot is to rock.
Yeah.
So, you know, you go after that top, you know, tier artist, it's going to get you attention. And I think he was coming from a place of there's no such thing as bad publicity. But I think he bit off way more than he can chew. But it's, you know, I posted a video about this on my own personal page yesterday, and it was kind of funny and sardonic, but it did sort of illustrate the way I feel a little bit. I guess to be a little more real about it, I would say I think it's always a tragedy when someone in this industry chooses controversy over art as a way to get attention, you know? And I think that fans see through it, and they did, clearly. The way that the world has responded to him illustrates that everyone saw exactly what he was doing. And now the world is calling his bluff. Now, will he learn his lesson from this? I don't know. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Justin Bieber, that he grew up in the industry and being able to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and he's just not used to being called on his bullshit, you know? By a band that worked way harder to get where they are than he had to. And I grew up on all the same things Jonna did, you know? I mean, I watched these bands become mainstream household names off of nothing but hitting the fucking road, you know? And he ain't never had to work that struggle, and he never will, you know? So I don't know why this is the one industry where we assume it's okay to talk shit about the people who have paved the way and proven their worth. Because, like, you wouldn't do it in a law firm, you know? Why would you do it here?
I think some people feel that as long as their names are in the news, or, I mean, there are some people out there who have almost created their entire fan base. I guess I could say fan base.
Well, I can say this
Through
for
controversy.
he didn't grow up in the music industry like Justin. I do give him that. How he got there was like, he started off on just regular rap battles. He was good when he started. Before he had like all this fame, and he was still doing the EST stuff. I was a huge follower of his because his music was legitimately worth listening to. And the bigger he got, the more he lost himself.
It happens.
Yeah.
Because he didn't grow up having money handed to him. He actually worked where he is. But I think what happened is he got famous too fast, and it just went straight to his personality, and he forgot where he came from.
And I do think he still was too young when it hit him. You know, Man, if you're under 25 when you get that kind of attention, you're too young, and that's even pushing it to me.
Now, Skeptic as another mask-wearing performer, Duke couldn't assault Corey musically, so he went for the aesthetic.
Yeah, I could actually, yeah. It's kind of like whenever you're pissed off at somebody and you want to try to find something about their looks, like, oh, well, your hair or your skin, and it's, I mean, you're reaching at that point. You're reaching.
The straw man's argument, I think it's called. Yeah. There's a debate. I know it's like there's a debate term for it, where it's like, you know, straw man's argument. I don't know if that's the right one, but yeah, attacking the.
Regardless of the reason, it's still disrespectful.
Yeah. Somebody did not teach him that lesson.
Especially if he can't do it himself, because it's not easy performing in fucking shit like this.
Yeah.
Like.
No.
Everybody wants their real identity to be known, and that's their right.
See, my whole thing is the reason why this upsets me so much, because it's so close to having the drummer of Slipknot. It's so close to him passing away. That was kind of an ignorant fucking move to make.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for a lot of fans.
He probably doesn't even know. I don't know that boy's paid enough attention to Slipknot to know that they've had two drummers and that one of them passed away. He probably has no idea. Yeah,
there's no way he should not know that, because for the longest time, he's always open for Slipknot.
I remember him opening for Slipknot once.
Yeah, for the longest time, he was opening up at Slipknot Fest when he very first started. Before he had all the fame, he was opening up for them constantly in Five Finger.
I didn't know that.
With that. So for them to look down on, for them to look and say, hey, and for him, Slipknot to have all this, resources and networking to help him through his struggle of music transfer, I think it was a stupid business-wise.
It makes it even worse knowing that.
Yeah, because what he did is he insulted all his peers at once. Because what is he going to say to the next person that tries to give him good advice?
Yeah. You can't ever be too good for anything in this business. The death of everything that you've worked for.
That's why I say there's a difference between being cocky and a cocksucker.
See, this is when I first was starting this out and trying to network, the first thing Jonna taught me is if you're going to seriously take this business serious, music or anything, you need to come in with a glass half full. Because so you can absorb and learn other things to fill your cup with, not just, I'm the shit and nobody matters. And that's the issue is with a lot of people that have fame, because now the fame does everything better than the other person. That's why I follow Tommy Vex, even after he left Bad Wolves, because he still treats his fans as people. He doesn't treat like you're any lower than he is, even though he's made it a pass where others are. See, I think if MGK went back to his roots, the music that he was making before, I think he would have a larger fan following, even after this dumbass mistake.
And an apology. I mean, honestly, saying I'm sorry seems to be one of the hardest things that people can do, but it's actually not that hard. It means so much whenever you mean it. Whenever you actually come out and you're like, I'm sorry, I was having a bad day. I spoke out of turn. I shouldn't have said that. I hope we can put this, it's I'm sorry goes a long way.
When you're an entitled bully, apparently in people's lives that don't matter, because they're like, oh, I'm the shit anyway, you don't matter, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint, at what point does that happen? If someone like that, works for all of that, at what point did they lose themselves? At what point did they start stepping on backs to get to where they are? Because it's a transition.
Another theory me and my wife have is we actually think his label had him say something stupid like this.
Oh, really? You think it was bad label advice?
Publicity
I think
act?
it really was. I think it was bad advice given to him, and he went off on it because he's trying to sell the CD tickets to my downfall. The whole CD is about him literally being a fuck up.
Wow.
And sacrificing everything. So I think it may not have happened, but I think he got information and took the wrong path. I think if he had problems with him, that he should have been a man about it instead of want to be gangster about it, and just talk to him. Be like, hey, listen, I feel highly disrespected and not do that on stage.
Yeah.
Especially when they're playing
now,
directly opposite of you at the same time.
Yeah.
But now he has to deal with a bunch of fans that are now pissed off by his ignorance. And he doesn't understand Slipknot fans are different than MGK fans. They will go on stage with his ass.
And Slipknot know that. I mean, Corey handled it pretty classily. He did that one response and then he backed off, hasn't said a thing, doesn't have to, and he knows it.
I guess that whenever Machine Gun Kelly came down like into the pit near the people while he was playing, what was it, last night before? But
Last night.
I guess one of the fans jumped the barrier, and not in a good way. Wasn't one of his fans.
Oh.
So I'm still waiting to see the reports on that one.
And see, the thing with this, he should have learned his lesson from the last artist he attacked. Because after he did the whole Eminem thing and he did the whole Devil song, he actually got his ass whipped on stage by an Eminem fan for the
That was really serious. God.
Rap Devil.
Yeah. You always got to be like suspect though of an artist that has to blow somebody else's candle out to make theirs shine brighter. You know, just focus on your art.
Slipknot are mostly from like the 90s. So we grew up in the Generation X era where we don't give a fuck. We had Psychosocial that came out later, but we're talking about like Wait and Bleed.
Yeah,
I mean, people are shit. People equal shit. I mean,
I was there for the first Slipknot record. I bought it the day it came out. I'm almost 40 years old. You know, I'm a full-grown adult.
I remember when they came to
Denver. Too. I'm nuts, and I still love Slipknot. It's clearly there's something wrong with me.
It was back in '98 for Birthday Bash in Denver. Like I went to go see them, and it was fucking amazing. Then they recorded the video up at the Stanley and shit for Spit It Out.
And they're so amazing with fans too. Like they don't treat anybody any different.
It's a lot like the Juggalo culture. Really, they just it's like you're not accepted anywhere else. Come over here. You know, it's very much like that.
And the reason and like the mask thing, I think the reason why they took on the mask wasn't only for stage presence, but you can remember when they first started out, Corey was still part of like 4 other bands, and he wanted to separate himself from those bands and still keep them going. And the other members of Slipknot were also part of other bands. They wanted to come together to make something together with keeping their identity separate.
Oh yeah, I mean, Clown brought in the masks even before Corey was a member. You know,
him and Paul. It was Clown, Paul, and Joey.
Yeah, they were kind of the core, and the masks were really about 2 things. From what I remember about interviews at the time, was like personifying the music in a visual way and making it actually not about what they look like. You know what I mean? Like, who cares who they are? You know, and you didn't even know their names. It were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You even know their names at first, you know?
And
the reason why I'm sorry, Caleb. The reason why I'm laughing because she's over there sucking on a sucker and licking it funny on the camera. I mean, I'm sorry.
I didn't even know you were laughing, dude.
It's a baby bottle pop. What is this supposed to do?
You keep sucking that.
You know, going back though to what Caleb was saying about an artist who has to blow out someone else's candle, that's just a problem with people in general.
Especially lately.
Is anybody who has to put someone else down in any way in order to make themselves feel better, look better, seem better, should be just immediately scratched off the list of people you want to be anywhere near, anywhere around. I mean, that's just something you learn, you know, whenever you grow up and you get past that high school stage. You realize, oh my God, I don't have to do that. And if someone hasn't grown, you don't want to be around them.
Yeah.
And that goes for like anything in general. So like when I first met Jonna, I was scared shitless because, oh, here we got this woman who has all this, she knows all these people. Now I'm fucked. And then I got to talk to her, and I'm like, holy shit, there's people out there that exist. And then I end up meeting Dad, and then I brought the girls on. I met Kayla, and I'm like, well, that's the goal I want to stick to. No matter how big we get, is I want to tell everyone that they're beautiful and they have a gift. Down just to get further, and I think where MGK used to be like that, and that's why I think he does have some good music. I have to disagree with him. He does really have some good music, and it does hit on a lot of notes. I like a lot of stuff he does with Youngblood, which is another younger artist who has made it big really quick. But unlike Youngblood, Youngblood hasn't lost his way as much as MGK. Like MGK got on the bigger, better drugs and just got stupid.
I don't necessarily dislike MGK's music, but it doesn't really do anything for me either. I'm probably just old and out of fashion, honestly. I know that a lot of what, as someone who is approaching 40 and still likes and almost exclusively alternative forms of music, I know that I'm a lot more open-minded now than I was 3 or 4 years ago. But 3 or 4 years ago, I honestly refused to check out a lot of younger artists, and part of it was that kind of shit, that attitude. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to like lump it all together. I kind of was, but like just that whole like coming up with a modicum of talent and almost zero work ethic and an absolute apathy and disrespect for the artists that paved the way for you to be where you are. Because it's not just MGK. I mean, there are so many musicians, especially mainstream musicians in his generation, with the exact same attitude. You know what I mean? It kept me from checking out younger artists for a really long time until I realized that not everybody in that generation was like that. But it does seem to be more prevalent than it used to be. Just like John has said, not just in music, in people in general. I don't know if it's internet culture. I don't know what it is, but everyone is so angry at everyone else for absolutely nothing.
It's stained
for
glass.
No reason.
I told you my stained glass theory.
Yeah.
It's harder to rebuild that window than it is to, lay down and die and let your empathy go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
We're a lot of broken people. I mean, Bill brought up, we're Gen Xers, and we were the stay at home kids. We were the latchkey kids. We were the forgotten kids.
Yeah. We walked home from school or rode on our bike.
Yeah. And our parents worked afternoons, and okay, here's leftovers, or here's $5 to go get pizza, or you'll be okay. There wasn't all of this insanity that we now see with like people being lured out of their houses by the internet. We were pre-internet. We remember when that shit was born.
Yeah.
And we had our friends, and we didn't have a whole lot of, I feel like family structure that kids these days do. But the problem there is that whenever you try to, okay, I'm not going to do what my parents did, you're more than likely going to end up making weirder mistakes.
Yeah.
So now the next generation is born with these well-intending parents who are breaking them in a whole new way because they never figured themselves out. Therapy and mental health is important. It's a big thing. If you're a broken person, or even if you're a healthy person and deal with normal issues that stress you, it doesn't hurt to go to therapy. We can all improve a little bit on ourselves, and a lot of our generation did not do that.
And our generation had the music, though. That's why we had bands like Slipknot, and we adapted ourselves to music when we didn't have friends. When we were Christians, we ran to the music.
Right. I fell in love with Nine Inch Nails because of that.
Yeah,
me too.
You lost your first love. What's the first thing you do? You found a sappy song that made you upset and pissed off.
Playlist. Oh, the playlist.
Jonna, I can't tell. I mean, how many times probably, like, if you or I had to take a shot for every time we listened to something I can never have after getting our heart broken. I mean, what 9 Inch Nails fan would survive that drinking game?
No, I couldn't do that.
None of us.
This is pre Jonna as she became pre high school. And I think I was 11, 12 whenever Head Like a Hole came out.
Mm-hmm.
And back then we actually had MTV when it was music television.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there with my bow in my hair and my little preemptive shark do and my little pink jeans.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the pink jeans phase. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah.
And all decked out, like all preppy and stuff, and just sitting there eating my toast by myself in my mom's house, waiting for someone to come home. And that song came on. It was the first time they had played it. And I don't know how to put it. I was just sitting there like in shock. It felt like for the first time somebody got me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my friends listen to like John Bon Jovi, this, that, the other stuff, and they loved it. But I'm sitting there listening to this and watching these crazy people on the screen and thinking, whoever you are, you're my people.
Mm-hmm.
I scanned MTV every day after coming home, trying to find them playing that again. And then whenever I went into middle school, I found not middle school, high school, I found my people. Like, gone were the pink jeans.
Yeah.
In was the all black.
It was 9 Inch Nails for me too. I mean, I'd kind of discovered industrial and some harder music, like angrier music, metal and extreme metal and stuff. But my first introduction was I heard their cover of Joy Division's Dead Souls from The Crow. That was my very first listen, and just fell in love with that track. And then so I went and I bought the Downward Spiral on a whim. I actually remember I got in trouble because I was 14 years old and I wasn't driving yet. And I walked about 2 miles to Hastings from my house when my dad wasn't home. Latchkey kid again. And then I got home 4 hours later because it was like 2 hours there and 2 hours back, holding the cassette of the Downward Spiral in my hand. And my dad was just like laying into me for not telling him where I was going. But I remember I walked in my room and I put it on, and the first track was Mr. Self-Destruct. And all I'd heard at that point was Dead Souls. So that's what I thought. I was expecting a whole album of that, kind of heavy, dark, gothic rock. And then I get this exploding air conditioner in my face. Almost instantaneously. The sound of the sample of some guy getting beat to death and just boom, like an appliance blew up. And it was heavier than any metal I'd ever heard to me. Even the way he was screaming, he wasn't screaming like a metal singer. He was screaming like, he sounded human. It's like, as much as I love the guttural growls, a lot of it at the end of the day, they don't sound like human beings. They sound like monsters or demons or something mythical. But Trent Reznor sounds like if that guy is in your living room, one of you's dying.
Yes.
He's not pretend. He's not mythical. He's not faking it either. That was the big thing. He fucking meant it. And that was terrifying. And the other thing about Trent Reznor that a lot of rock musicians still don't get is it is equally, if not more terrifying when you whisper. When that man whispers, an angel loses its wings. I'm convinced. I mean, Piggy is just as terrifying as Mr. Self-Destruct for a completely different reason. So that album was, anyway, I could sit here and analyze the whole thing, but that's what blew me up.
It's funny that you're using the words terrifying, because actually, I don't know about the rest of you, but that kind of music always makes me feel
alive.
Yes, alive and real.
Like relaxed.
And like I'm smiling while hell is falling down around me.
That's what was so terrifying to me. Because I was told that kind of music should not make me feel that way.
It does, though.
It did. He's all screaming about God is dead, and I'm like, woo! I'm going to hell, but this song rocks,
Right.
especially in the mid '90s in the Bible Belt. I grew up like right on the buckle of it, man. So.
No, I get you, because that kind of music really does. Industrial and metal hit me in a way that rock tends not to.
Mhm.
Not that I don't like rock, not that I don't like some rap, not that I don't like, I can like everything.
Yeah.
But
Same.
You always go
those
back to
hit
that
me.
one album though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, like the very first band that got me in the heavy metal and dark death metal, and that was Cradle of Filth. Like,
Wow.
I got introduced to them, and I'm like, ha, fuck country music.
See, I actually, this name is not even going to probably make sense to any of you, but this is where I find that so many of us have like also those little bands, the little like lesser known bands that whenever someone else knows them. I was recently
I have tons of them.
Yep.
where I grew up, it was a very small area. We didn't really have a music. We thought we had a music scene. We thought we did. We were certain we did when we were 14, 15. But one of the bands from that area was Necrophagia. And if any of you actually like know that
Love
band,
them.
I know the name.
okay,
Yep.
I know the name.
so I know the founding members, and so that's literally what I grew up with. That's like where my music was. These people would play beside me as we're all playing Sega Genesis, coming up with their new music.
Hell yes.
And I was recently at a show, and one of the guys on the show, they were a touring band with Soulfly, and we were talking, and he's like, I love it whenever you can love everything. He's like, I know this little known band, even because he was talking about metal and everything. He's like, I know I don't look like it, but I love metal too. I knew this little known band named Necrophagia. I'm like, no. It's like, and if you look at me, I don't look like I like that kind of music. I don't look like I look like the typical 44-year-old.
The best, like her whole thing is she doesn't even look like she's into metal. She'll have like a postie where she's going into a metal scene to take photos, but she looks like she's about to go to the mall. I mean,
yeah, I do. And then my friends get to see me actually at a metal show, and they're like, how did you just skip through the entire mosh pit? And I'm like, oh, honey, I've been in so many mosh pits. It's no problem. You stick 1 foot down solid here, 1 foot down solid here, and you hope you don't break your camera. Anything else, and you're good.
Yep.
So, Dad, what broke your virginity for heavy metal?
I don't know. For me, it was there's several different factors. Like Metallica was one. Ride the Lightning. I love that album. That was what started it. But Manson was a big one for me. As 9 Inch Nails is for you guys, like Manson was that for me. Like,
Manson was right up there with 9 Inch Nails for me, for sure.
Because, like, no matter what, you always, if you felt like you were different, Manson's music always made you feel like you were actually part of something.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he was an avatar for that.
Yeah, and a fucking scapegoat too, because every fucking Christian society fucking hated him.
Yeah.
Especially after Antichrist Superstar came out. Like,
like I said, where I lived, woo.
Yeah, and he's a smart motherfucker. A lot of people don't give him credit for that, but he is really fucking smart.
Yeah.
One was I think one of my favorite songs. It was actually a cover by Gary Newman, fucking Down in the Park.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, I love his cover of that.
Yeah, like Manson's covers are like the ultimate. Like he is the cover master. Highway to Hell, fucking Nightmare Before
He
Christmas.
does have a lot of good covers. That's
Yeah,
true.
Tainted Love, fucking the list goes on.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Nigger.
Tainted Love was a good one, and
For some reason, like
what's that?
it sounded the same as the original to me.
You know what? There was just enough difference. Like I thought I was going to hate it. I really did, because it's one of those things. Don't change it too much.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way that he did it, it really sounded like it was just they brought the same song kind of up to date.
Produced by Fred Durst and everything. And, you know, they got swept underneath the wayside a lot. You know, I love Mudvayne. You know, it's just several factors. Cradle of Filth was another one. Like, if I was really pissed off, Cradle of Filth was the ultimate. You know, it's not just one. Like, Demon Hunter was another one. That was really...
Oh, Demon Hunter.
I'm sure we all have, like, multiple ones. I think something we probably all have in common, just as heavy music fans, is after a while you need something heavier, you know, especially when you're younger. Like, when you're an adolescent, you gotta graduate, you know, to heavier and heavier stuff, you know.
So,
I'm less that way now, but I was definitely that way coming up.
So, Sharkuda, what broke your virginity to heavy metal?
Marilyn Manson, Alice Cooper, groups like that, because I really didn't listen to too much heavy metal until I started hanging out with more white people and that, and like I'm sorry, I'm from the hood in the ghetto, okay?
It's okay. It's
where it's predominantly black, listening to like Bone Thugs and Harmony,
NWA,
Cypress Hill,
to 2 Chainz. You're listening to like hip hop like 90% of the time. And one of my black friends walks up to me, and my cousin and my cousin's like a few years older than me. He walks up to me with a CD of ICP and shit, and I'm like 4 or 5 years old. My cousin's babysitting me, and he pops in ICP, and it's like
the loudest shit ever.
I mean, that's what drew me to BTMX. Was that like it's all rebellious music, but of multiple genres, you know?
And the whole thing.
I mean, like, some of my biggest influences aren't metal at all. Like David Bowie, Massive Attack, Radiohead, Tom Waits, who else? Tricky, Saul Williams, Tech Nine. I mean, they run the gamut as far as genre, but what they all have in common is they all own their careers and own their sounds and they're their own brand.
I'm over here laughing because some of the names that have come up in this are actually on my playlist, but very specific songs. And can we just give props to all of those bands, especially from the 90s, because the 90s had a knack, like Radiohead.
Yeah.
With their songs about stalkers. And, you know, I mean, Creep is basically all about I stalked you and now I have to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, and
Cadaver is pretty good for that too.
Yeah, I mean, like but like these bands that did that, even Personal Jesus, that's
yeah.
You know, and it's just like all of these things that people were rocking out to right there in front of their parents, had them playing at the sock hops, the lock-ins, and everything. And any children out there listening, if you're under 40, maybe 35, probably don't realize that they actually used to take us into buildings and lock us in there. We thought that this was fun. Like, we'd pay for it to happen. This was our events. So if you wonder why people our age are messed up,
what about Metal Mafia and groups like that? Because like Metal Mafia, I think they're actually from the Youngstown area around here in Ohio and that. And because my cousin George, he always
First Angel actually works with them.
We have, you know what? I think though that we just recently started working with them because of Nate Movie House, and he just met me and he's like, "Oh, so you're a photographer?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
He's like, so how do you know these guys? And I'm like, well, that one's also a photographer of mine, and that one is a writer, and that one is, and he's like, how many of you are there?
and like even more Slipknot and more like all the metal and shit, but I still have my base in hip hop and rap too.
So since we talked to all us geriatrics,
Yeah, the young people are being quiet.
I actually got to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
we're gonna ask the baby of the group, what got you into metal?
My mom.
Okay, is your mom
I
a
like
band?
that.
It
No.
might be.
I honestly didn't start listening to metal until she introduced me to it.
Oh, fucker. What was the
Slipknot,
band?
honestly.
Slipknot?
Huh?
Slipknot?
Yeah.
What album?
I don't know. I don't know the name of the albums.
Oh,
You need to do some research.
oh yeah.
So,
Because-
Michaela, do you consider yourself more like a casual fan of music where you grab it and it grabs you? Or are you one of those people who can categorically go out and like name off track 3 of X album at 1 minute 32? I know people like that one. I'm not like that.
Those are composers that can do that. Composers are the ones that do that.
So Soul Smashers,
Soul
what
Smashers.
got you into metal?
Honestly, the first band I ever heard in life, and it was like when I was like 15 or 16, would be Korn.
Yeah.
Good
And it
one.
was freaking Life is Peachy. And I'm like, yes, it is. I shall take all of that and shit. Yes. Damn it. Like, I come from a freaking home, so I'm like, what the hell are you listening to? And I'm like, nothing. She's like, all right. I see, this is what I'm talking about. So I just got more and more into Korn, and then somehow Limp Bizkit weaseled their way in there. Which I have no problem against Limp Bizkit at all. I do like them. But then, like, later on came Marilyn Manson, and then, of course, freaking, I've been a Slipknot fan for like freaking years and shit.
Static X is another good one that
Yeah.
was a huge one for me.
I like
And
Static.
Melt It Down.
Oh, wait 1 second. Now, before Miss Rain from Soul Snatchers answers, the other artist that got me further into the metal scene that I had to hear on repeat and to actually start liking them was the band Type O Negative.
Oh, I
Love
love Type O
Type O,
Negative.
dude.
Yes.
Yes.
October
Love
Rust.
Type O Negative.
And it's
All the
almost
way.
October, so it's almost Type O Negative season.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like you too, Will. It took me a while to get into them, but once I was hooked, I was hooked. I think I had to get their sense of humor first. Like, I don't know. It's a little impenetrable at first.
They
So go on, Rain. Tell them the rest of it.
Interesting stuff.
The first thing that got me into the alternative style was Linkin Park.
Yes.
Then
Archie
Reach
Chester.
Grace, Godsmack,
Audio Slave,
yeah, Audio Slave.
Rage Against the
And-
Machines.
Yep.
Puddle of Mud. System of a Down.
I know my sister's playlist. Then it went Evanescence, and then she got tired of them. Then she went to Flyleaf.
Yep.
Then she didn't like Flyleaf. Then she went on over to even more deeper and more pain in the ass music. And then she came back to good music. Like 3 Days Grace. And they originally had Adam.
It's been a dream of mine to meet the singer of Evanescence.
Amy Lee is
She's awesome.
like just
I love her.
amazing. Her voice. Now I have a friend, Jerry, and he brought this up while we were up at Incarcerations. We were talking about various music. He said that nothing that she's done has ever actually compared to the first Evanescence album. And in a way, he is absolutely right, because that was symphonic, that was operatic. There hasn't been anything that has quite reached that but even her most recent releases, Yeah Right is like the most beautifully ironic song ever. For money, they're not wanting, you know, oh, we're not going to pay you to do this, you're going to pay us, or we're going to take a large chunk of what you get paid. And the whole premise behind Yeah Right is it's this like poppy little like, I'm just happy, yeah,
See,
all
like
because
when
you know you want
Evanescence
me to sell my soul.
see, when I heard when Evanescence first started coming back before she actually started making better music, when she first came back, she's trying to rap, and I was
Oh, I
so
never heard
I
that.
wanted to cry on the inside when she tried to rap. I felt like, what the fuck?
I've never heard that, and I'm
Yeah.
actually very glad I've never heard that.
She has a music video where she tries to rap, and it sucks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And then right after she came back, Korn tried to come back, and they tried to rap.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
The same way. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm like, why fuck with a good thing?
You know, experimenting in music is such a double-edged sword because so many artists do it wrong and make audiences scared of it. And that makes it harder for people like Trent Reznor who do it right. Where it's like you never totally forsake what your core identity is, but you expand on like, okay, so this is your kind of core identity or brand or sound or whatever in the center, and then you sort of offshoot from that into other little universes, but you always take little pieces of this with you. And so what the result of that hopefully is like your experimentation, what it really is just organic growth. You know, your interests are naturally growing in a different direction. But when it doesn't work is when we can tell you're lying about it. You know, MGK, perfect example. You know, like you switch kinds of music, not because you actually like that sound or have something to say in that world. It's more like a bucket list or you know,
it was
you're a locust.
It was
like what?
It was a cop out.
Cop out, yeah. That's a good word for it. Yeah. Yeah.
He fucked up, so you had to find something that he made.
Like, yeah, you can absolutely try things, but you got to remember who you really are, too.
I think that's why we're so good at what we do. Because
and the reason why it was so disappointing to me, though, for Korn and Evanescence, they trained us to feel a certain way when their music came on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they train your mind as soon as you notice who it is and their voice. You know that the rest of their song is going to be great, or at least decent. And then you hear their voice and you're all excited, and next thing you hear, what the fuck am I listening to?
Yeah, Korn was a big one for me too, especially the first two albums. Now I have since become a fan again. I think their last few things have been really, really good. But honestly, like my least favorite Korn album is the most popular one. And that's Follow the Leader. Follow the Leader was actually the one that lost me initially.
I love Issues.
Issues, you know, they had all the rap features and Jonathan Day. All of a sudden, the band's appearing in like Adidas, you know, in like really like, you know, expensive tracksuits in their videos, and it's looking more like hip hop production. And I don't know, the darkness and the agony was gone. I just wasn't as into it.
Like the song Adidas, All Day I Dream About Sex.
Well, yeah, but that was Life is Peachy. That wasn't Follow the Leader. Life is Peachy was still.
Yeah, but they were doing the tracksuits back in the very beginning.
Yeah, but they were Adidas tracksuits, and they had a dark aesthetic to them. They weren't made of gold. And they didn't come with chains like they fucking Got the Life video.
Jeez.
I just wasn't into it. It wasn't for me. That's not what attracted me to rock music or Korn sound in general, you know? And I think that they have even looked back on that period themselves now and gone, yeah, we let the label and the people get in the way a little bit, you know, because I think they've gone back to a much rawer, realer sound now. I mean, their last album about Jonathan Davis losing his wife was absolutely devastating.
Yeah,
that's a great album. It's a tough listen, but it's a great album, and that's what I always wanted there to be. That constant from Korn was the realness, and I just did not. Follow the Leader was an amazing sounding album. It was produced well. It had some good written songs on it. The whole problem for me was I just did not believe it.
Yeah,
Felt like I was being lied to.
Well, they flipped it and then came out with Issues, and then the
Issues
Untouchables
was a lot better,
which was fucking just raw, just pure raw emotion.
Issues was way better, way better.
I think everybody in the world knows Issues simply from the breakdown on Falling Away From Me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's the one, like, he can start doing that and you're like, yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
So if you guys notice that as BTMX grows, we've been getting more and more underground artists, and that's because of me being taught how to talk and network from Miss Jonna right here. So, like, I did not know that I was gonna find so many amazing people like Caleb with MZMZ. You got Solo at Death. I mean, these are people that music just doesn't classify the one genre. That's what kind of helps out. And I see a lot of people. It's okay if you have the experience, but if after a while training your fans for so long on one sound, I don't think it's a great idea to try something new all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of why I'm drip releasing 2 albums with 2 totally different styles at the same time. Because, I think you're right. You do have to train your fans what to expect. I want people to know right from the offset, don't get used to anything. Like, honestly, don't
change too much on me.
Oh, I won't.
I'll take it.
Well, it's like I said, it's going to be organic. I don't feel like I actually control the change. I don't notice it until I go back and listen to, like, I can go back and listen to Version now and then listen to all the stuff on these 2 new ones and go, wow, that's different. But I wasn't. It wasn't.
Talked about 9 Inch Nails and David Bowie and how they just kind of went with their own as they grew.
Yes.
Their music grew. So maybe
they were the ones to me that did it right. Like it's like, they experimented, but I never felt lied to.
Right.
That's to me is the key. If I feel lied
yourself.
Yes. If I feel lied to, I'm out.
Oh, good. Their cat's coming into it too.
Yeah, no, the kids like to steal camera time from them a lot, actually.
Yeah, Trinity was
it
in
reminds
here
me
trying
of
to
one
hog
of the meetings when one of the cats backhanded.
Oh!
He's like, bam.
He's still
who we have here with us. If you pay attention to each and every one of his albums, you could tell that he's growing as well. Like, especially musically. When I first met him compared to now, you could definitely tell the role of motion, the more motion he puts into it, and stuff like that compared to when I first heard him. So
totally, yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm impressed by all the people, and it's very upsetting to see these groups where they're telling artists like you who are trying to be seen, "Oh, just drop your link and show you." And I say this every week, and they're not being seen anywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I think it's taking away from the world because it's a gift that they're sharing, and nobody just it's not hard to go over and like somebody's video.
And for a long time, I didn't realize that was such a rampant thing, actually, until meeting you guys. That's when I became aware that so many people were doing that. These scams, these drop your link scams. I actually didn't. Again, old fogey.
See, another thing is that's where I think a lot of your guys' like First Angels list will fill up if you actually reach out to these artists, because that's what we do here at Btmx, because these artists are not being played anywhere like they're being promised. And I like artists like you and Dead who put their time, love, and passion in are just being walked by. And I think that if these sounds get more heard, not all of them are great. Me and Jonna will tell you. She helped me develop an email where I had like 3,000 submissions. Not all of them are great. Sometimes you want to shoot yourself. But
there's some stuff that First Angel doesn't cover. I mean, if we think it's a little too niche or
Magoo,
sometimes other.
It's a little Magoo.
A little. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody understands when the Misfits don't want to play your music, there's obviously an issue there. But that's not. I'm not even seeing that. I'm just seeing people giving false hope to people who are putting their time, love, and blood into it, and I don't think that's right to them. And
Yeah.
I, like everybody in my eyes deserves to have the spotlight. That's why I wanted to create Btmx. It wasn't only for music; it's for everybody in the world to know that they're special. That's why we cover mental health a lot, because be the first business that was not only an entertainment company, but I also want to be the first business that was an entertainment company that's here for anybody who wants that shoulder to lean on. And then, John, I helped put that into an actual form before I actually had it down. And there was days and days where we just sat doing this. And, to stay in this path and the many people we've reached now, it's all because we believe in whoever's watching. We don't care if we personally know you. We don't care if you live over in another country. We believe in you. We want everyone to know that you don't have to be alone. If you are an artist trying to get your music seen, go over the First Angel, come to Btmx. One way or another, your music will be seen instead of sitting on somebody's page.
And Joe, like on his Monday articles, it doesn't matter if we're able to give that article attention in a spotlight form or that band attention in a spotlight form or an article, it's going in there. Somebody's going to get a chance to see that. I mean, he puts everything in, no matter if he personally likes music or not. If it's in the emails, it goes. And I mean, you have to give people a chance. I mean, some of the artists that we were talking about here come from a completely different era where you were only discovered if you worked your balls off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just I don't really know how talent is found half the time. It really feels like pay to play hit the national level. I don't really know any other way to explain it.
A lot of it is pay to play. You kind of have to wrap your brain around it.
Unfortunately, it is.
That's the nice thing me and Dad do, though. Like, we do charge for some of the services we have. That's just based on how far you want to go. But at the same time, we do not charge to make somebody's music a part of our show. We've never done that.
Yeah, we always take artists that we personally know.
Yeah, the only time we ever do that is when somebody's trying to jump above the list. And I hate to say these artists came to me months before you. And that's the only time we charge. But the whole thing is, the reason why we do this is because there's so much beautiful music in this world. That's why we have 20 different shows, because we didn't want to stick to one genre. And we want to give everyone a voice. And I got accused of, recently, it was from a fan. They said that we don't play everyone's music that does submissions. Well, I have thousands and thousands of artists sending me music. I can only go there at so.
Understand, because that somebody accused him of only playing their band one time in 30 days. Okay, so what you would have to have is you would have to sit in front of the radio 24/7, no bathroom breaks, no cigarette breaks, no leaving it, and no sleeping. For like 30 days.
Yeah, I'm good.
To actually hear what is being played at all times. Just because you didn't play their music when they were listening on their car ride home doesn't mean you didn't play their music.
Right.
Well, and I mean, like, people also, like, some of these younger artists, there's two things they don't understand. One, they don't understand that if there's not an email, a way to submit by email, it's probably fake. They're probably collecting the track for a botted playlist. That's probably what they're up to. And the second thing that they don't understand is that, like, the industry has always been pay to play. To get on a mainstream radio station costs an inordinate amount of money. It's not because the radio station likes you. They play you because you pay them a shitload, and that is how they make their money. It's paid advertising. Radio stations make their money from paid advertising. So the fact that something like Btmx or First Angel Media or anything like that that's going to, like, give you coverage at no cost of any kind, no matter how minute, The fact that that even exists now, like they don't understand what a blessing that is. Because 20 years ago there was no such thing.
I mean, we both of our companies do everything that we can to make certain that people, you know, are able, and that's, you know, Will was saying how we would sit for days and work on this stuff, and we did. But I knew then that, you know, if he could get a hold of some of the basics of what he needed to know, because he has the heart for it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the most important thing, is if someone has the heart. I've seen a lot of companies like mine and like Btmx come and go, some within a few months.
Yeah.
Because the person thought that that was going to get them like famous, or that was going to make them popular, or
they still believe in the big break, the mythical big break.
Yeah, there's a reason why it was called The Music Died that day.
Yeah.
Because it did. It died with Buddy Holly and Richie Valens.
I feel like you have a good point there. I feel like that was an end of an era.
Yeah.
It was no longer just being signed and, you know, not owing. It was like, here's your record deal. Here's how many albums you got to put out. This is how much we're going to give you. It no longer is like that. No. It is, we're going to give you this loan. We're going to tell you what to do, what to say, what to sing, what to look like.
And that loan has a lot of interest attached.
Oh,
and if you can't fucking perform to that amount of what's agreed upon, then you're fucked. Completely.
See, and that's the nice thing about what Btmx is doing. We have artists. We already have one artist on with us who's doing extremely well. He's a pain in my ass, but he's doing extremely well. But you know, we charge. We even do monthly fees. A lot of companies don't do that. They have a flat rate or you're fucked.
Yeah.
And we're not like that. And we don't make you change who you are. We want you to focus on the music. We focus on the media and, you know, getting you out there and getting you booked. And that's what Btmx wanted. We wanted music artists who are up and coming who wants to just focus on the music and leave all the sideness to us so they can, you know, get out there. Now, the second thing is that Btmx we have our own radio station that's going to be coming, where it's going to have all these missions, all these artists that you guys have seen throughout the years, because we've been officially now open for almost 2 years, getting close.
Yeah.
Btmx has grown because of people like Jonna, who took time to talk to me, and then I got balls to talk to DEADDREAMZ, and now I'm talking to Caleb, and I'm talking to people like Blood of the Beloved, and, you know, so many other artists. And the whole thing is, everybody is going to get playtime on our radio station. It's just going to be certain times for certain genres, just like our shows.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. And the whole way you get on our radio station, we're not charging any artist who submits their music to be a part of the radio station.
It's incredible.
And the program, I got a program that is very similar. It's going to run very similar like Pandora, where it literally shows all your information when you come up.
Cool.
So, for instance, DEADDREAMZ comes up. You get to see what album, what song, what track it is, all his links, where to go for it, where his merch is, and all that.
That's so awesome, man. See, that's like, you know, people like, they don't realize like, like even like a few years ago, there was nothing like, there was nothing like this, you know? I know, because I looked. I've been looking for years.
Well, then that's also why First Angel, I mean, and it's not me, it's just that I saw the talent in the people at First Angel. But now that's why we offer things like websites and EPKs, and, you know, we're working on modeling and talent profiles as well, having portfolios for people who want to put it out there for real modeling agencies. You know, why we offer logos and all the other services that we do that have nothing to do with a media company, specifically because we know so many people are out there in need of this, just like Will sees, you know, what he's able to do. And also, I mean, you know, Patrick from Brutal Business used to be, I mean, he was like basically the same as me at First Angel Media at one point in time before he went over to BBE. And he took the idea of being able to offer those services there too and started using, we're also multi-talented. I mean, all of us have different things that we can do. And whenever you're able to put those things together in a company, then it works better for the people that come to your company.
And it also makes them. And the nice thing about the way we do it, we're so family-like, even with our talent and customers, that we talk to you as a person, not just as a company. And when me and Dad has meetings with people that are new that's coming up, we explain to them this is like kind of like family. So if you got a problem, you need to let us know before it happens. If there's an issue we can help, tell us. Don't hide it because you think you're not good enough for help. Because we rather have somebody focus on their potential instead of focus on the issues around the potential.
Yes.
Definitely ain't gonna stroke your ego either.
Yeah. And it's a really great thing for a company to offer, man. I mean, we've all had jobs where it's like you don't want to tell your boss about whatever personal crisis you're having, even though it's going to affect your job because they're just going to use it against you. And I've had bosses that have used it against me, especially in education. Boy, oof.
You just all decided Michaela's.
First Angel Media, and it seems like Btmx is the same way. It's like half media and half mental health support.
It's like support group /
I
business.
feel like in this business, any business entity needs to be part mental health support group.
And another good thing about Btmx though is that they also support small businesses like mine. I do play manufacturing, and that is one of the blades I'm making right now, and that goes to Silhouette Death when it's fully done.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that.
It's called the Snife.
And the whole
Called the what?
Snife.
Knife.
The Snife.
And when I found him, I talked to him just how
Michaela, take a drink.
I talked to him just like how John had talked to me. I'm like, do you want this business? Where do you see yourself in 5 years with it? Is this something seriously that you're going to put all your time into? Because you can understand, with a business like this, nothing is free.
No.
Yeah.
The services that we're giving for free, most of the time, you won't find that anywhere else.
Right.
A lot of people are, hey, you either got money or you're just not good enough. And the way First Angel and we don't believe in money first as much as reaching out and being able to help people succeed in their dreams. Like Michaela, she started off how I knew her. She was one of my nephew's exes. She does makeup. I'm like, okay, let's give her a fucking makeup show. And I'm like, and then she starts taking photos. I'm like, quit giving away your photos for free. You have a beautiful face. You know how to take photos. Why not become a model as well? And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, you see Dead over there. You want to do something creepy as shit? And she's like, oh, yeah. And the next thing you know, she's doing special effects makeup.
Nice.
And look at my sister. I started off with Rain. Rain's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to do this. It's so stressful. And I'm like,
I did.
There's nobody there's nobody standing up for the gay community the way you think that they should. So why don't you get the balls and do it? I'm like, I got the platform. You have the voice. Come be the voice. And that's what we're trying to do. Eventually, we're still in the process of adding more and more team members because we eventually, like I told her a long time ago, my goal is to have Btmx running 24/7.
Yeah. And that's what you really should have is the 24/7, and you're growing towards that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the nice thing is we always include everybody that we're grateful for in everything that we do. So, like for instance, like with MC and Solid Death, you'll catch your guys' music 90% of the time over at our gaming channel because that's the opening. And that reaches a whole new fandom because they're not here for music, they're here for gaming, but now they get to hear you.
They hear someone go, oh, that's good to game too.
So that opens up more and more minds. Now, when it comes to the modeling part, now our Btmx Furies and Gents right now is kind of like a model portal. It helps people be able to react with one another, photographers be able to react with models looking for jobs, companies looking to hire models and stuff like that. And the reason why I wanted to create that, because there's a lot of beautiful women out there and guys who want to be models but just don't know where to go about it. And that's why I wanted to create a place so they can be accepted. Look into each other.
One of the things I love about Btmx and First Angel Media, and I throw BBE in this pot too, actually, is like it's all three of these organizations are really good at, and this is one of the things I'm most interested in music is all three of these organizations are really good at cultivating a culture, where people, we all link and we all click and we all work well together because we are all part of the same culture, and when you have that kind of strength in numbers that we're all growing and we're all three connected, the money and the comeuppance will come, when you put people first, the money really will come, it may not come soon, but when it does come, it will stay. Because there's going to be a loyalty from your audience that's based on a relationship that's bigger than the money that they're spending. The whole reason they're going to be willing to spend the money is because they trust us, Yeah. I mean, that's why I was willing to spend money on Btmx, or put my time towards First Angel or any of those things because I believe in what we're building,
And that means a lot to me. He's like, when I made DEADDREAMZ my business partner, I got made fun of it by my family. Well, it's just a hobby. How in the hell you get a partner? And I'm like, well, because he's been with me for a year now.
Once you get a partner, it ain't a hobby anymore, Bubba.
That's what I tried to explain.
If you have a business partner, that's the very definition of no longer a hobby.
So the thing about my business partner, he's also like my brother. So when I start getting down, I'm like, Dad, I just can't handle this no more. Can you take over? And he's like, no problem. I got this. And where I can't get, Dad gets. Where Dad can't get, I get. Where I can't pick up the girls, where the girls can't pick up, my wife gets. And then we just keep going. So, and my whole goal was behind to show everyone, you think you have nothing, but truly everyone has something to offer.
Yeah.
Michaela, take a fucking drink.
I don't have one.
Find something. I'm tired of hearing your phlegm throat.
Pardon me for one moment. I see the time, and I have to tell two little boys that they do need to be in bed now.
Go to bed.
Yeah, I actually have to hop off.
This little boy actually's got to be in bed soon too, because I'm moving this week.
That's right. You are moving.
I am. This is actually the last roundtable that will be in this quadruplex. The next roundtable we have, I will be in my grandmother's house in Abilene.
Well, tomorrow I also have to go to bed not long after them because tomorrow I will be with many of the people that we've spoken about today because it's a mostly BBE show.
Yay!
The Subalpine, where Skippy Ickham is doing his comeback.
Oh, nice.
I can't wait. Hopefully we can get his time. I would like to get him on an underground show.
Oh, he's wonderful. You'd really enjoy that.
And like we've already had his beautiful wife on here, Mrs. Red. If you guys didn't know that, that's his wife. If you didn't pay attention to any of his music videos, she's in them.
I just got into Skippy Ickham. I really like it. He's really talented.
Yeah. I think Miss Red was her husband is actually not Skippy.
It isn't? It's not? It's not Gary?
No, but he used her a lot in a lot of those. I forget his wife's name. I'm only saying that because I don't want
people to get the wrong idea.
Yes.
Don't kill us now.
I don't know anybody who's married anybody. I'm married.
Yeah,
I just like it too.
He's married with 2 children now, though I believe it is. And but I've heard his music. It's insane.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be really great. I've never shot him before. Shooting is a photographer's term. Facebook, don't come at me. Don't go at me.
Don't shoot him down.
You've gone against our community standards.
Yeah.
You're
Don't even say it because it'll just happen and we'll all get banned.
I'm telling you, I once actually got like a threat from Facebook that they were going to ban me if I ever said it. I answered like one of those explain your job badly.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I shoot, frame, and hang people, and like they came at me like they.
God forbid you play a game of Hangman.
Yet every time I write that I'm going to shoot a band, they don't seem to care.
I think I answered one of those too, and I said I yell at strangers about my problems.
Can you do me a favor? Can you shoot Michaela in the face?
Oh, that's my cue to leave.
I could shoot Michaela. I mean, we can do this. We can make this happen, Michaela.
She's gonna shoot me once I get up to Pennsylvania. I just gotta get to Pennsylvania.
He's literally traveling.
Yeah,
And he
to
knows
get
I'm going to
shot.
shoot him at the end.
Then we gotta
I want to get my face shot multiple times, and I'm traveling thousands of.
Okay, but I actually do gotta get off. I gotta get my.
Yeah.
I really have.
We hope to bring you back on. So anytime you want on, just let us know. We'll bring you on there around.
Absolutely. Sundays are normally a little bit easier for me. I do work as a photographer outside of music, though, so I do have a few weddings. And I actually have a we contracted with a tattoo convention and up for a special Halloween event that they're doing. So, but as soon as I can get in there, get in here again, I absolutely would love to. So, and Michaela, I think I sent you.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about, me shooting you.
Okay.
And we need to get DEADDREAMZ up here so I can shoot him too. And you know what? Ladies, come on. We'll shoot everything.
I choose you. Hey.
Yes, exactly. Ba-boom.
Who's next? Who's next?
And I shoot people with a cannon too.
Yeah.
Watch,
So that
each of
makes
our
it
houses
even
is about to be with a cannon.
FBI all breaks in. What's going on in here?
Each of our houses is to be rated with SWAT teams with Facebook logos on there.
It's time to slap the book at you.
John is producing the Kool-Aid. We're all drinking it.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Well, it was wonderful getting to talk to all of you. And I
Same.
will see you around.
So thank you so much.
you will, thank you.
We're gonna go, so if you guys want to watch Dad's going to be doing our Valkyrie Sunday where he plays a female fronting. Thank you, Miss Jonna, for
Hopefully.
joining us on our round
Oh,
table.
it was my pleasure.
And thank you guys for being amazing fans watching through this. And definitely next time, if any of you, our fans or viewers, want to come on the show, please let us know. One of our group will drop the link in the send the link to you, and you guys could just jump straight onto the show. We're going to go ahead and let you have a beautiful Sunday night from our madness. And I'll catch all you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoy later, motherfuckers.
Bye.
Have an awesome week.
You too.
Us couldn't get that these were our last words. Us couldn't get that these were our last words. Love we lost our way, hoping we'd come back. All we do is love we lost our way, hoping we'd come